Welcome to another week of Dude Soup, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about Blizzcon and how they could possibly make us happy after everything that's happened with Blizzard this year. And also some crazy stuff is happening over at Kotaku. So jump in with us for this very journalism-y episode of Dude Soup.
So jump with us.
Well, it could be dancey.
Yeah.
It sounds like a movie that would come out in Korean first.
Jump
and be
with us?
awesome.
Jump with us.
And then they would do a version of it in America with
Ansel Elgort.
John Cena.
Oh.
And he wouldn't be able to.
Both. Ansel Elgort is John Cena's son.
Yeah, I would watch that.
I did just imagine a very large man power bombing onto a bowl of soup and just decimating it.
I think we're thinking about two different movies. That sounds like a leap of faith. I was thinking more along Fault in Our Stars, which is why I picked
I
Dear
regret
Ansel.
asking both of you to do this. But hello, everyone. I'm Alana. This is Connor, and that's Lawrence.
Yeah.
Hi.
The Hot Pod team together again.
Popping it up.
And this episode is sponsored by Hims, Honey, Fleur, and Mac Weldon. So, jumping right in.
To the bowl.
Kotaku has, well, BlizzCon is this weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
That it is.
And I feel like there's this like ominous cloud
Oh,
hanging
yeah.
over BlizzCon right now. What's going to
Tension.
happen? There's a protest that was funded on, I think, GoFundMe.
Funded?
For what?
Yeah.
For like snacks?
Probably
or
like
something?
shirts.
Well,
right?
some
Like, okay.
YouTuber who makes like a lot of anti-Brie Larson videos bragged about how he funded the whole thing because he just like donated $3,000.
What's there to fund?
Not really sure.
Okay.
I think you have to get a permit from the city in order to congregate. Like,
So do they
Permits
have
from
to-
the city
Let
cost
me
like
look up the GoFundMe.
$50.
What if they need a
If you
lot
have to
of
pay
permits?
off-duty police officers, that's what I've been
me look it up.
scheduling a parade. Yes, I've been doing it, so I know a little bit about city planning.
Protesting BlizzCon GoFundMe.
Anyway, it's a bit of a distraction, but yes, things are not hot for Blizzard right now after a series of interest. We got a giggle. Ooh, that's not a good face to show.
Oh my god.
It's a lot of money.
Okay, the funding is because it says, we want to get about 300 mini Hong Kong flags. They didn't think about
That
police.
doesn't cost $3,000.
They didn't get a permit from the city. It says a set of 12 is $19, and we want to get about 300 flags, so altogether, 300 flags should be about $475.
You have to think about the thread count on these kind of
They're
things.
getting ripped off. Yeah, you can make a nice sheet out of those.
It says I will be purchasing the flags and flyers soon.
So $3,000.
Yeah, okay.
flags and
There's a
flyers.
Reddit. Reddit.com/protest BlizzCon.
Is this
I'm sorry.
Is it a
Put this in here
scheme?
too.
It's a no. Absolutely, protecting freedom is never a scheme.
No,
This is
the GoFundMe.
This is same thing.
okay.
This is a beautiful cause for a noble goal, and this shitty ass YouTuber is doing the right thing. There, I said it.
I
Yeah,
actually
fuck Brie
agree.
Larson.
I actually think that he is not doing anything wrong in this case. The man who donated the $3,000.
Allow me to toss a wrench in those works, Alana.
Okay.
The projects being announced at BlizzCon, lest there is another Hearthstone expansion, which there probably is. But isn't it possible that all of the teams announcing their projects at BlizzCon that they've been working on for years have nothing to do with the decision made about Blitzchung? And would it be fair to try and cast negativity on their projects because of what somebody else did?
I think there is some nuance to that in that I believe someone reached out to a bunch of Blizzard employees and they were like, yeah, we're devastated. They had some protests in the office. I think someone covered up one of the banners of the...
Yeah, it was two of the values.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
on
Voice
the
Matters
statue at
and-
the front, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what they were doing is effectively censorship. So in case anyone doesn't know, I'm assuming that most people do at this point with the Liberate Hong Kong Fiasco. This is just a quote from Kotaku because it was the easiest thing to do. On October 6th, Hearthstone pro player Blitzchung, don't know how to say his last name, called for... Thank you.
Yeah, we've
Called
covered
for-
it all daily.
Called for Hong Kong's sovereignty from China on a Blizzard stream saying liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age. Blizzard suspended him for a year, stripped his prize money and cut ties with the casters involved, triggering widespread outrage. Fans and critics question whether Blizzard's massive financial interests in China, which is responsible for a large chunk of Hearthstone's revenue, according to people who've worked there, led the company to punish a player for expressing free speech, which is what it sounds like, and I get why people are mad, but I also recognize that this probably doesn't even have anything or much to do with the US team. That said, if people are protesting at BlizzCon, I get why they're doing it because that's the only way they feel like they can get noticed in person. So, sure, if you're going to a Diablo 4 Overwatch 2 panel and protesting, the people on those panels are probably going to be like, we have literally nothing to do with this. But I also get why you would go to those people to try to get heard when no one else is going to listen. That said, I mean, Blizzard did retract the I
Some
don't
of
know
it.
what else we really want them to do. It was an awful thing for them to do,
Yeah.
and I think that we should like seriously be protesting this. It's terrible.
It's just super tone deaf.
It's just the amount the entertainment industry panders to China is nuts.
Well, there's a huge market.
Well, it was
Yeah.
coming just on the heels of what happened with the NBA, which is like
Yep.
an extremely similar situation and just imploded on them. And then Blizzard's like, we could probably do that.
Yeah, we can get away with that.
Let's try it.
Well, it's that sort of like myopic view of, well, he's clearly in violation of the rules. The audience will understand that.
Right, yeah.
And to a degree, that was true. But there,
But also, if you wrote the rules,
yeah, you
mean,
can choose how to enforce them.
exactly.
And I think I'm not making the argument that this is going to sound like, but I do think there's an element of hypocrisy on Blizzard's part because they had like Pride Day for Overwatch. That was also redacted in other territories. So like South Korea had a redacted Pride Day presentation that cut out a lot of the Pride celebration stuff. So how is it okay? I mean, to say that it has nothing to do with world politics is flagrantly untrue.
Yeah.
Because if you have Pride stuff in North America where that stuff is seen as good, and then you redact it in other nations, they're in the process of doing that, of tailoring their output to match the social norms of every independent region.
Yeah.
The problem is this was tailoring a broadcast for regions outside of China for Chinese sentiment.
Yes, because it's obviously an international broadcast that everyone's going to watch, and they're
Yeah.
like, "But it's China, right?" And you're like, it doesn't work that way.
So their statement, by their own actions, was not.
It was a bad statement,
It wasn't honest, and everyone kind of
they did retract their statement, right?
They amended it.
Yeah, they gave
Right.
him his
me
prize
pull
money
that up.
back
They
and
gave him his prize
halved
money
his
back,
ban.
reduced his ban to 6 months. They also they said that we might work with these casters again, reduced their thing to 6 months.
The casters didn't deserve anything because they didn't.
So some translations have the casters as being in on it, as like prompting the statement, saying like, go ahead, say the thing.
Interesting.
That's what I've read.
Okay.
But then they ducked behind the table.
So their faces wouldn't be seen
Yeah.
during that clip, which was
Yeah.
actually pretty smart.
Not the worst idea.
I don't want to misrepresent the protest because I naturally just laughed at it because they're trying to raise money to get flags. So
gonna,
apologies
like-
for doing that.
But those are going to be outside the event, right? That's where the protest is?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's. I
So
mean,
this is just for photo ops?
I don't think the protest is a bad thing to do. I'm trying to find more information on what their plan is, other than maybe just like liberate Hong Kong. But I can't find.
I think a presence at
info
the
on that.
convention is not a bad idea at all. I mean,
No, me
it's-
too.
Yeah,
I think that they're not.
Well, I'm going to continue being devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Since you guys
Keep it up. Keep it up.
I'll be the boomer who's
the
crushing on-
Diablos
Yeah.
advocate.
I'm not the first person to point this out, and but I want to bring it up because I think it's an interesting thing to try to work through. So, I would never argue against arguing for people's freedom of expression and certainly human rights in the case of Hong Kong, the right to self-govern and be independent. However, there's no denying that so much of American culture now exists because of cheap consumer goods from China.
Yes.
So,
Wait, what?
I know it's shocking.
So
right?
much of it.
So how can any individual to reconcile the fact that they have an iPhone or something that was made with cheap child labor or something like that, exploitative labor in China, but then also point the finger at Blizzard and say, how dare you change what you're doing to appeal to that market?
People get more angry about the things that they can see. I think it's easy enough to not acknowledge cheap child labor, which is basically slavery, when you're not seeing it, but when you see censorship, and I think it's also maybe that censorship is a big discussion in the US right now, so it feels more relatable. I would guess that's why. I don't agree that it's right, though. Like, they definitely... China is literally exploiting children daily at this point. It's also, I don't know, you have a lot of racist marketing practices that really bother me, like making Finn smaller and
Like taking the witch hunter
yeah.
out of Diablo Immortal?
right, because you can't have black people because they
Black
don't
Panther
sell in
didn't go over
China.
well there.
I just feel like
It was
that's
weird to me that
whole
wasn't
mess.
a blow up about Witch
The
Doctor
Witch
not being
Doctors?
an immortal.
I think it's probably because we aren't able to confirm that they did it for racist reasons, but
I guess that's true.
I'm
There
pretty
could
much
be another-
positive.
Yeah, I'm 99.9% positive they took the witch hunter out
yeah,
to make it friendly to China.
yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with this like
Or chose not to
perfect
include,
moment to like hold a company like Blizzard accountable. It's like this perfect storm where like iPhones and like, you know, the stuff that Foxconn did and all that about child labor is not good. I'd like to go on record and say child labor, bad. But
That's a hot take.
I know.
2020.
Yeah, I'm going to mute my replies. I think, but with the protests in China really picking up steam now, an incensed gamer community, which and a lot of them are no strangers to taking to the internet. BlizzCon being right up around the corner, and it's a fairly easy dunk. I think a lot of people, like with the whole no ethical consumption thing, find it hard to point fingers, but this is kind of like you're not putting a lot on the line to try to hold this company accountable, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think we should do more of that, but I think it's often, you feel small. It's like, well, if I stop using straws, is that really going to stop climate change? Kind of deal.
I hear
Save
you.
the turtles.
Yeah, it's something where you get direct feedback about your actions instead of
Yeah,
throwing
we're
effort
seeing
into
it
the void.
happen, and it's only been a couple weeks now, and I think a lot of people are like, I'm helping, which maybe they are, maybe they're buying just a bunch of flags, but
I think at the very least, I like seeing people take on mega corporations.
yeah.
Active Blizzard are huge. It's such a profit-driven company who also, screwed over a lot of employees this year. In February, what did they lay off? Like 600, 700 people?
That laptop is taking
That's
off.
a fan. Can you hear that, Omar?
Are you just
No.
is the browser open? That's it?
Yeah,
Wow.
Chrome uses a lot.
it is Chrome. That's what it sounds like.
Sorry.
Derailer.
Yeah, they laid off a bunch of people, and then
After a banner year profit-wise, right? Like, they make a ton of
top
money.
line at Activision, yeah.
Activision
Oh.
hasn't been happy with Blizzard's earnings
Yeah.
in a while.
Right.
But then they reopened some of those roles for the people they had laid off in those positions later in the year as well. Like they've done they've had a bad year. They've done a lot of bad stuff. I get why people are just very unhappy in general. And
Continue being a corporate apologist.
Oh yes.
A lot of the people who got laid off got extremely generous severance packages.
Yeah.
And I've heard firsthand that a lot of them are just taking like 2 years vacation because they can. I
Wow.
think they got 2 years salary just up front.
I think a lot of them were still very angry though.
I mean, I think justifiably. Everyone's mad when you lose. You're mad when you lose your job. But I do think on a corporate level, the thing that's never reported because it kind of contradicts the narrative is that Activision Blizzard tried to do right by the people they let go
Okay.
to what degree they could.
So another thing worth noting is Kotaku reported that after BlizzCon last year, which obviously blew up in Blizzard's face because of the announcement of Diablo Immortal and then the layoff shortly after, all Blizzard apparently wanted to do was get to BlizzCon 2019 without any more major PR hiccups so they could blow people's socks off and maybe the games community would be happy with them again. I wasn't able to verify that outside of Kotaku saying that, but it sounds like basically they were like, all we got to do is get to the next BlizzCon. Everyone will be so stoked with what we have, which again, we're assuming is Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. I don't remember what their code names are. They have code names. But at this point, I feel like there's almost nothing that can be done that will make people happy with Blizzard.
Oh, I disagree.
You think so?
I think if
You
they
think
have
if
really
4
good,
gets announced, people are fine?
I think if the trailer is awesome, and if it's playable, and if the game looks good, that's 3 ifs deep. And if there's no microtransaction bullshit apparent in the demo, I think it'll be fine. I've seen multiple times gamers figure out how to turn their heads around to make themselves okay with the thing they really like. To a degree, it's a shade of like buying a cheap iPhone and then being mad at China in another way. And to kind of what you were saying, Connor, it's an easy cost-free dunk. The hard dunk is when you choose to not watch the keynote because you're outside protesting, and you choose to not play a game that looks really, really good. I have never seen that happen. I've seen boycotts get thrown around, and people put it down the day the game comes out and buy it anyway.
Battlefront 2 still sold well.
Yeah,
People
well,
will be like, this is going to hurt them, and it still sold very
That's
well.
a fun video game,
so
despite everything.
the core market is important.
At $5.
The core market, the ones that are presumably listening to this podcast and following all these narratives, they're important because they kind of determine the temperature of the market. But they also have very weak wills, typically, myself included. I don't want to seem like I'm
You
lecturing
are very
anyone.
weak.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, I will step over myself to buy a good video game no matter what
I
happens.
mean, I have major problems with Disney as a company, but I still got tickets to see Star Wars opening night. So here I am.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
monopolies are bad.
I think if
Yep.
Overwatch 2 looks really good, if Diablo 4 looks really good, they'll find ways to be mad at Blizzard in a vestigial sense, but they'll still buy the stuff and still say it's awesome.
Yeah, I
Definitely always thought they would still buy the stuff. Yes.
And I think the conversation will cool. I don't doubt that the general audience will kind of move on from this, but what about like the Blitzchungs of the world who are like, is there going to be, Blizzard lost control of the narrative is essentially what happened to them. Is there going to be more like protest from the high levels, not just from consumers? Like, are they going to have to face this again sooner? Because I mean, the protests are not going away and there's still a significant amount of business in China and they didn't actually reduce the ban all the way. Is this going to incense more professional players and maybe casters at that level to do things?
That's a great question, Connor. We can discuss
you,
that
Alana.
after a word from our sponsor, Hims. Hims is a wellness brand offering solutions for some of the things that might have men feeling insecure. I haven't used Hims, but I know Lawrence has. He had a really easy time signing up and making sure that everything was legit for some basically like hair loss prevention, which is a really amazing thing that Hims does. So like one big example, summertime is here. And while you may be breaking out a baseball cap for a day at the beach, if you're wearing it to hide thinning hair, you might not have to do that anymore. Actually, with the way some of Hims products work, you might be able to prevent your hair from thinning entirely, assuming you'd like to. Don't sweat the hair loss this summer. Do something now while you still can. 66% of men lose their hair by age 35, so why do nothing when you can turn to science instead? 4hims.com is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, boldness can be optional. Hims connects you to real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss and help you keep your hair with no snake oil or pills or silly tricks. Only prescription solutions backed by science. Our listeners can get started with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last, and subject to doctor's approval, of course. See your website for full details and safety information. This could cost hundreds if you went to a doctor or to a pharmacy somewhere else. So go to 4hims.com/dude. That is FORHIMS.com/DUDE. 4hims.com/dude. Thank you to Hims. Okay. What was your question?
It was so long ago.
I mean, I do
He
think
was
you're
talking
right.
about high-level protests from people,
Yeah.
not just the consumers.
Yes.
Blizzard basically stuck their ass out. It's like, once you show weakness, then people are going to test you.
Yeah, I did pull up their actual statement for anyone who doesn't remember. It was
the Jalen Brack one?
the specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear, our relationships in China had no influence on our decision. Not true. We have these rules to keep focused on the game and on the tournament to the benefit of the global audience, and that was the only consideration in the actions we took. If this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same, which nobody really believed.
Also, what's the divisive manner of saying people deserve human rights? There's nothing divisive
Oh,
about
I
it.
know.
I mean, it is divisive to China, sure, but again, how do you rectify that with like Pride Day at Overwatch League?
It
Which
is in
is-
their rule book that you're not supposed to do anything political, but then why are you doing a Pride Day? Like, that's technically politics?
Which yeah, and I'm glad you said that because ideally that's not politics. Human rights is a rights issue, not a political issue, but when you have tyrannical governments
It has
that are
become
suppressing
Actively
the
stand
freedom
in the
of
way, right?
Yeah.
It makes it every single action political.
kinda.
The decision not to allow your employees and players to not bring up politics isn't in and of itself a political move.
Yeah, you're right, it is, because that's technically censorship in a form. The actual quote is, there is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast, which he didn't really do. It was just a comment.
Yeah. And he was
You think he'd be banned for saying, I want to thank God for helping me out? You'd be like, well, you didn't have to get religious. There's
a lot of that.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I wonder
People
about
do that all the time.
I mean,
Say,
that's
like, gay
extremely
rights?
prevalent in sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he had said, like gay rights, which is arguably something that Blizzard as an entity has already voiced that they as a company agree with, would that have been punished? Technically also violated the rules.
Don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Don't think
They
so.
probably would have stood by their guns
So to a degree, yeah, it's
or
Austin doesn't have guns, really.
different guns.
Yeah.
turns out a
They're
company
spells. They're spells.
Should have stood by their
Cards?
casting.
Cards,
Do they use
yeah.
wands or is it out of the wrist?
Oh, good question. I know in Magic you play as a wizard who summons things out of land. But I don't know.
I don't. I have a gun.
The Lauren Hart. Yeah.
When I play.
All right.
Behold my deck. Behold my pistol.
Yeah, I just put it in my deck and then like a Glock on the table next to it. And I'm like, we playing?
Has there, speaking or throwing back to Harry Potter, I know in fan fiction it's probably rife, but in the world of Harry Potter, has anyone ever tried to just shoot a wizard with a gun? I'm sure it's happened. But in the lore,
There's probably fanfic about that.
It's got to be
absolutely.
addressed somewhere deep
Neo
in the,
versus
in the
Harry
annals
Potter.
of Pottermore, right? Because if they addressed wizards pooping,
and they
you all
did
remember that.
thoroughly.
Pottermore.
I think about it often. But Connor, to your
Shooting.
point about like point of no return territory,
Yeah.
I do think now like the worst thing you can do is make yourself like a good trolley target, and I think Blizzard's handling of this has made them a soft target.
Yeah.
They came out with way too strong of a punishment, invited the world's ridicule. They backed off, which also says something about their softness. And now going forward, there's a very like you said, they lost control of the narrative. And once you give that to the internet, they're going to bash you around like you're in a washing machine.
Yeah.
They're going to test you at every corner, make sure like they'll find the weak points. So I think what Blizzard's going to have to do, maybe they've already done it, is to have a summit with like every public-facing PR person in the entire company and say, these are our policies, this is how we talk about this, and no one's going to say anything different. Because if Hearthstone can go out there and do their thing and invite a problem on the whole company, now they need to just harden up and like make sure that everyone's got each other's backs. No one's out there like saying stuff that's a little off message, to just really reinforce that Blizzard as a company has their shit together and they know what they're doing, which it hasn't felt that way in a while.
I think that they're probably actually happy about how this went down anyway. Like, I almost feel like for everyone in North America, it sucks. Or globally, it sucks. But I feel like the Chinese portion is probably like, government's happy with us. Doesn't matter. That's where we make our money. We're all good. And it is worth noting that Riot, who make League of Legends, echoed a similar sentiment to
And are owned
Blizzard.
by Tencent, I believe.
They're a subsidiary of Tencent.
100% owned
Are
by a Chinese company.
they? Riot says broadcasters refrain from commenting or discussing sensitive topics on air during League esports events. So it seems they feel similarly. But then Fortnite creator Epic, in which
Tim.
Tencent has also invested but is not completely owned by Tencent, says it will not punish players for political speech. So I wonder if Riot is a result of Tencent, but they don't have enough control over Epic to make that call.
That's what, I mean, Tim Sweeney said as much in the past. He's been like, Tencent is a 5% stakeholder, I believe, in Epic Games. But as long as Tim is...
I think it's more than that. It's 40%.
That's been misreported.
Has it?
I've seen 40 thrown around. I don't think it's...
somewhere between
Wait,
5
no,
and
it is.
40?
Wait, there is another...
This is
a
an interaction
significant
that says, I'm interested in what Tim Sweeney Epic has to say. His company is 40% owned by Tencent. After all, Tim Sweeney replied.
You're 100%... Yeah, I think it is... Oh, who's 5? I don't know. So you're right. It is 40.
Probably another Tencent company.
Must-
Because
probably.
they own everything.
They just named it differently. It's
Yeah.
still China.
So yeah,
5 cent.
Tim's, like back when people were mad about the Epic Game Store and accused it of being Chinese spyware.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, Tim Sweeney was basically like, I still own the majority stake in this company and I get to declare everything myself because he's 51 or higher.
Yeah.
And he said, as long as I'm that, there will be no like under the table dealings with China.
I'm sure they'll try to keep that for as long as they can. I can't
Yeah.
imagine them changing anything.
Until they edge him out. But he's been in the game for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Fortnite would have to drop many balls before they come to ousting Tim Sweeney,
What are they
right?
still doing? Let me check Twitch.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if is Fortnite still on top right now.
It's
Pretty
close.
I mean, League of Legends actually has been
And WoW was for a while, but that seemed to drop
starting to
off.
fade. But League of Legends is routinely in the #1 spot these days.
I heard
which is
DayZ is coming
weird.
back.
What?
Making
We
resurgence.
don't need that. We don't need that. We need DayZ Minecraft mods.
Oh, okay.
That's the real shit.
Yeah.
Twitch is loading really slowly.
I tried to turn on all those Minecraft shaders last night. I was like, I have a computer.
I'm gonna run a 10-year-old
And it
game.
was running like 15 frames per
Wow.
second because I turned on every shader.
Nice.
And I was like, cool. I'm
But
a
that
gamer.
looked awesome as hell.
Yeah. Well, if I stood still,
Right now,
Cinematic.
Modern Warfare is #1.
Okay.
That makes
All right,
sense.
all right, all right.
Just Chatting is #2.
Hey, Activision Blizzard back on top.
I still have to play that.
Yeah, true. And then League of Legends, which is at 134K, and Fortnite is at 97K. So, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Yeah.
Good
Man,
for them.
The Counter-Strike news is wild today.
Yeah.
What, the EA Valve stuff?
I
Wait.
mean, that's cool. That's Steam.
I'm just doing free association
No,
now.
the fact that the Valve basically said, yeah, it turns out people are using the CSGO market as a 100% of money laundering service.
It
So
says
we're shutting it down.
Nearly all Counter-Strike microtransactions are being used for money laundering.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Awesome.
Like
That
the
is the most
knives?
cyberpunk thing in the world. Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
People will buy and sell Counter-Strike goods to launder bad money.
Oh, that's
It
awesome.
is awesome.
It's like that one juice place in a strip mall in your hometown that you never saw anyone go into.
Yeah.
It's still open.
Yeah, it's been
The
open for
watch
7
shop.
years.
Like,
Yeah.
What do they do? No one's buying watches. There's just one guy standing there all day.
Blue meth.
You pull on his nose and then the bookshelf spins around.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's why there were $5,000 knives, it turns out. And yet again, like Valve finding themselves just one hair's breadth removed from straight up illegal like money trading.
Again,
that
I
they
mean, and
benefited
so
from
much
for
with
years.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening.
What's the reception been like to this? Did Valve shut it down so quickly that everyone's like, all right?
I saw some frustration.
Yes, I think they've shut it down because you can't trade keys anymore, which sucks for people who are doing it innocently. But I think Valve shut it down immediately, right? Yes, they did.
How are they coming away from this? Because
Because they're like,
Valve?
yeah, it's not them. So
other
they're
people
like,
did
"Oops."
it.
That kind of reminds me of what happened with Google Plus. Right? That was the social media.
Yeah.
There was like a
existed, yeah.
security loophole that someone found in the midst of all the Cambridge Analytical stuff. And they're like, hey, Google, there's this problem with your platform. And they went, well, pull the plug. And then they shut
got
it
rid of the
all
whole
down. And nobody said anything
Yeah,
after
because
that.
no one was using it.
No, well, yeah, I tried
like
to get everybody on board
I
with
tried to
it.
use it
Yeah.
too.
And then I used new MySpace in 2012
Ooh.
with rebooted by Miley Cyrus, Justin Timberlake, and Jimmy Fallon. It scrolled
can't-
sideways.
Figure out how to log in. I really wish I had access to that account.
Sideways. Well,
That's not what
it was
the phone shape is.
new.myspace.com, which I wonder if they would have ever changed the URL.
It's mostly for music now, right? MySpace?
Is it? Is
Wasn't
it
it
still
always?
kicking?
I mean, I know they had band pages. God, I loved how much you could customize a MySpace page. HTML, you could have a song autoplay.
MIDI.
I never had an old MySpace. I just tried to get on board with new MySpace.
Okay, boomer.
Ouch.
Whoa, wait.
Hey, I just bought one of those shirts.
I have to
MySpace
put that
can't
all
be
together.
reached.
Oh,
Did you try
Connection
new?
timeout.
Did you try new.myspace?
Oh my God. Devastating.
MySpace.zone.
God, guys, these headlines are hitting too fast and too hard. I can't take it. This whirlwind of news. What a shifting ground we're on.
Oh,
R.I.P.
it's back, it's back.
MySpace.
Sorry, disregard.
Oh,
MySpace is back.
yeah!
And apparently Jennifer Aniston is working on something with her Friends cast members.
When isn't she?
Wouldn't have known
Instagram
that if I
post?
hadn't gone on MySpace. So,
All the hottest
here we
and
are.
greatest news.
Jennifer Aniston drinking smart water and using Aveeno products?
Oh my God.
Today's episode is
We do actually need to do another ad read. So here is a word from our sponsor, Honey. Ever buy something online and then find out you could have gotten it for way less? That might be worse than microtransactions. Can you believe it? Not to mention, once that happens, you feel like you could be overpaying every time you shop or every time you have shopped in the past and just losing tons of money you don't need to be losing. It's worse than being on an airplane full of landing clappers. It's worse than saying nice to meet you to someone you've met before. It's worse than calling your teacher Mom. Luckily, I have Honey, the free browser extension that saves you time and money when shopping online. Honey scans the internet for coupon codes and other discounts, then, like magic, it automatically applies the one with the biggest savings to your cart at checkout. It knows just about every coupon code, sale, or discount at over 20,000 sites like Amazon, Macy's, J.Crew, Domino's, Sephora, Target, and more. I actually personally saved enough money on some holiday decorations recently that I could buy another thing completely for free. It's pretty exciting to see those deals right in front of you and to think of what you could be missing out on if you aren't using it. Honey has found its 10 million users over $1 billion in savings, and listen, there's really no reason not to use Honey. It's free to use and installs on your computer in just 2 clicks. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/dude. That's joinhoney.com/dude. Thank you, Honey. And to wrap up our our Blizzard conversations, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you want from Blizzard? Are you mad? What do you want them to do? How do you want them to recover from this? What do they do going forward? What's the ideal? Release video games. You haven't released anything since
video games.
2016.
Damn video games. So I think I don't
Release
know. If this-
Overcooked 2. Wait.
I think Blizzard's beyond the Rubicon, kind of like Valve. I think World of Warcraft was the greatest and worst thing that ever happened to them. It let them grow and grow and grow. They have tons of legacy employees that they treated very well. I think this is just conjecture now. It feels like they've had so much money for so long they don't remember how to be hungry and like make product anymore because they haven't had to. And all of the things that they've made have kind of languished over time, and then they've tried to squeeze blood from stones, and it's pushed out their fan base even further. I just think it's like, let it die, kinda. I mean, they're a corporation. I think a lot of people remember them fondly from the early days when they made a lot of cool games with heart and a lot of personality. But all of that's just been smothered under corporate influence, which it just happens. So what I want is for Morheim, who left Blizzard, to found a new development studio, hire up all the old boys again, and make some cool, smaller games.
A lot of people left recently, right?
A lot of people quietly left recently. Dustin Browder left. David
people.
Kim, I think, left.
Yeah.
A lot of StarCraft guys left when all those projects got canned. So the thing that could save it going forward for me is if Diablo 4 is like a brutally like metal, violent, difficult, mechanically complex, roguelike-y game. Like, take it back. Make it really hard to win and make it so you have to play well and understand the systems as opposed to Diablo 3, which is fun, but boy, the entire world just dies right in front of you as soon as you cough at it.
I do really like D3, but I agree.
Yeah, I like D3 as well, but D3 is there, and it sold 1 million jillion units, so I don't need another one of those. But I think that's what they're going to do, since Diablo 3 sold so well. For Overwatch 2, a story mode would be cool, but I'm guessing it's more just like the PvE events that they've had from the updates. They're going to have like 6 or 7 of those. They're, from the sounds of it, they're adding like a talent and item system, which I don't want at all. I thought Overwatch was complicated enough to be a good game, and adding more to it is just kind of going down the MOBA territory.
It gets kind of messy.
Yeah, and it makes it harder for spectators to watch, I think. So I don't know. Blizzard's always had an eye for like making complicated games enjoyable by the masses, and I don't think that's going to be dead with Overwatch 2. But to me, it feels more like they just needed another retail product out there to raise brand awareness and to bring in more people to Overwatch League viewership. And it feels like that's what's driving the development and release of an Overwatch 2 rather than they had a really good idea for a sequel. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. I guess fundamentally, and a lot of people have asked for this, I would like them to get back to releasing original idea games with really cool concepts that come from a place of like, this is just a fun game to play, instead of focusing on the like monetization or the daily active users and all that stuff. Overwatch kind of felt that way again, which was pretty cool.
I feel like that would almost require a company restructuring because Activision Blizzard, true, it was great. It's a partnering of those two companies, but the board is Activision. So the board of Activision Blizzard is still completely Activision, who I feel like are extremely microtransaction driven and daily users driven, and they are one of the ones who cares about like the amount of hours you play versus how much you pay for a game. So they're like, if you play our game for 200 hours, you're only paying $60. That's not fair. Because their logic is if you pay $10 to see a movie, the amount of profit that theaters make for the hour than how much you spend, that the video game industry should be the same.
Yeah, good fucking luck.
So they're like, if someone spends 200 hours playing Call of Duty, we should be getting money for the 200 hours, not for the base game. And I think that's
such a flawed comparison.
Such a shitty attitude. They have graphs where they're like, movie industry.
Yeah, but you can pay $5 for a soccer ball and play soccer for the rest of your damn life.
Doesn't matter, not
a
entertainment.
game is not a movie. It's not linearly consumed. A good game you can play forever. Chess.
Then they can make money forever, Lawrence.
Yeah, maybe
I get it. They're a business. I get it.
Maybe this is the end of the game should be movies argument, which is not to say that they're cinematic. It's that they should be monetized like movies.
Apparently.
Awesome.
Speaking of which, Modern Warfare is actually really good.
I've heard that.
Campaign's good.
Oh, good.
I'm into it.
How dare you?
I know.
How dare you?
I know.
Support China like that.
I know.
Such a gamer.
Gosh.
Thank you.
I
thank you.
they have their own mini controversy right now too of rewriting a war crime committed by American
They
military.
made it sound like it was done by Russia.
I've only seen the byline. I haven't done any research or wiki diving on it at all.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, is that they made it sound like a real war crime that was done by Russia, was done by the other way around. That was done by the US, was done by Russia, so that you would be like, oh yeah, Russia's the bad guy. But it's a real war crime, and people are like, it's a video game, it's fiction. You're like, but it's not. This is a real thing that happened that they just swapped the bad guy on. Like, you can't.
How do they? I wonder how much the United States government has like a say on that kind of stuff.
I don't think it's any.
No, because they do a lot of consultation with films and stuff.
I think I know, because I went to an event for Modern Warfare, I know that they had like soldiers and SWAT consult on the game, but I don't think the government
But not
does
actually any.
Yeah.
All right. It's a little suspect.
If they do, that's very concerning.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Or if they're trying not to piss people off or something.
I mean, I think you can. There are some rules about what you can and can't say. You can't make a death threat on the president of the United States. That is a crime. But
I would never.
Yeah, who would?
I couldn't dream of it.
But I do think you're allowed. You can misrepresent.
So you can't
history.
say you're going to kill the president.
No, you shouldn't say that.
No, you can't.
Huh.
The Secret Service will give you a very stern call.
Wow.
Is my understanding.
Hey, we talked
Not
about
that I've
this.
done it. But
I haven't either. That feels like a Hail Mary situation where now that I know that I can't say it, I want to say.
That's the real American spirit right there, Alana. You
Hail
made
Mary,
it.
Mother of God.
Sense of me.
Is that the test? Like, that's how you get your green card? Or your visa? Do you want to... I shouldn't joke about it. Whatever.
Activision,
rewriting
Call of Duty,
history.
Yeah, revision.
So and there's some other weirdness about it too. How it is the United States and it is Russia, but it's not Syria. That's the one that they changed, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's.
I don't care that much about that controversy because it is for narrative purposes. Like, I think it's like wow, probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm not like wow, cancel the video game.
And yeah, how would it make it a better video game to be like, you're an American soldier. By the way, I guess we bombed some civilians. Anyway, go out there and shoot the bad
It would
man.
probably be more complicated to write it in a way that would still keep you sympathetic with the US side who you're playing as. So I feel like that's just done for narrative purposes to make you like agree that Russia is the bad guy. It would have been more impressive if they had stayed true and written around it. Because I mean, that's why Spec Ops is so good. Make it challenging. Like, make me like be like, ooh, war is bad. How do I feel about what I'm doing? But
Even
they're like,
Modern
nah.
Warfare in the past has asked those difficult questions.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
I mean, the No Russian level is about as difficult as it gets, which is for the sake of being undercover, do you want to mow down civilians? And
Yes.
it sure is kind of like a sociopathic
that's
honeypot
the
for people who just
question.
can't wait to unload on an airport. But
Yeah.
the thing that I've come to embrace is sometimes those difficult questions and those vaulted concepts aren't what games like that are for. If it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it's trying to be a widely palatable, somewhat but not too much challenging sort of product to get people talking, but not enough to actually make them think.
You're right. I'd prefer it challenge me, but I don't think that game has to do that by any means.
I agree.
You're all right, mate. Connor, what do you want?
What
Just
do
in
I
general.
want? Just a hot cup of tea and a nice book.
The hat
kind
with
of
a
tea do you
bill
drink?
that doesn't cast a big shadow.
I like chai. If I had, but I've been drinking a lot of coffee lately. What do I want for Activision Blizzard?
Yes.
Ah, interesting question. No, I mean, I don't know what BlizzCon is going to look like. I don't think it's going to be a disaster. I think it's going to be a lot on the fringes or the outside. I don't think anyone's going to run on stage and grab the microphone as much as the chaos in my heart wants that to happen.
I expect if they do any Q&As that we will have meme lords
Yeah.
throwing a lot of shade
I don't
at
think
them
they are.
for fun.
They
I
announced-
think they said they're not, right?
You can submit questions they will screen and then read themselves. Because I know this somewhat firsthand. The Retro guy from last year, he had to submit his question. So he lied about his question and then said a different one on mic.
Right.
Which, he's the hero of the internet, but also kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
Based on that, not on Hong Kong, they already changed the Q&A process.
That makes sense. Well, as for what I want for Blizzard in general, they're in the position where the games they have coming up are so far out that the can has been kicked down the road. So I don't think we're gonna really know. But I mean,
We've been working on D4 for a while. I don't know that game's that far away.
I guess it's not immediate, right?
Probably not. Probably not this weekend.
Available
I
today.
don't think so, but I don't think it's that far off.
That's the big question mark, though. There's no release date. And who knows if we're going to get one at BlizzCon. We should, right?
I think so.
It's got to be like 2020, right?
I think they kind of have to. Like the only reason they wouldn't is that they've never shown anything for the game, let alone really acknowledged it. So,
Which could definitely work in their favor this weekend of all weekends.
well, they'll show a trailer, and then which I believe they were originally going to show last year, and then it got pulled, if I remember correctly. But we'll see something. But it would be weird to have the public have forced their hand to be like trailer and release date now. But I mean, they could. It'd be pretty great.
That would be nice. I haven't played any of the Diablo games, so I don't really have a dog in this race. But I don't know. I'm just curious to see what happens with this, because these are like two huge swings of the IP they have really in the chamber. And if that doesn't work out for them between Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, I don't know, would they go into splinter any teams into smaller productions? Would they publish anything
I think
from
they
the third
had
party?
teams working on smaller productions earlier in the year that then got canceled.
Cool.
So I don't know that we're doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fun. That's what I would have liked to have seen.
Original stuff?
Yeah, but maybe not like an event or an experience like Overwatch. Like, just put out a game.
Yeah.
Well, War 3 Reforged, another remake, but theoretically that's the SKU they're going to release. The cooldown time has arrived.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not saying what I want so much as I'm curious to see what happens if their original IP that's teed up to continue with their trajectory that they wanted to keep of being a very successful AAA game maker doesn't work out. Like,
Yeah.
what do they do? Does
I'm
Activision
extremely curious about what's going to happen.
step in even more?
Yeah, I think probably more layoffs. They've hired up so much. So, yeah, if they have to trim staff to match their revenue levels to the degree that Activision's happy with, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what's happened to other Activision teams that slip under the performance cutoff. I mean, their roster of Call of Duty devs has been pretty stable despite the series sort of plateauing in performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They stopped making Transformers games, but maybe they just lost the license. And then
Wait, aren't they making another one right now?
they might be in that. Never mind.
Who's
is it
making
Let me check
that?
that.
Beanox got moved from doing Transformers to pinch hitting on They'll probably just get absorbed into like the whole developer ecosystem of Activision because I know they like to share development resources a lot. Every Call of Duty is made by like 3 studios.
Right.
Because it's like 3 games basically.
Then that makes sense that they would just kind of maybe cannibalize them a little bit and absorb them in.
Yeah, the division, at least in the Morhaime era, the division between Blizzard and Activision was always extremely stark. And that was, I think, his doing. He wanted to make sure that Blizzard was still Blizzard, even though they merged or got acquired. I mean, he made them put the name of the company in it after all. So, yeah, I don't know what the long, slow death of Blizzard looks like, but it would be interesting to watch. And I can say that as an impartial observer. If you work for Activision Blizzard, I want to say on hand at least that I want nothing but the best for people who make games because I really love games.
Yeah.
So
And Blizzard has a history of making good games. It just got rough recently. Like, I almost want them to pull a Bungie. I don't think that's going to happen. But they're just like,
go
and
independent?
we're out.
And
Like,
take
that'd
more
be cool.
Chinese money.
Well, presuming that Activision is the problem, I think it's more just an internal. It feels more internal at Blizzard.
Yeah.
That having a new GM in Mike Ibarra might help because he would have to go in and I think just like probably trim a lot of jobs.
Yep.
Probably just to get people lean and hungry again. And I don't like talking about people's jobs and livelihoods like it is just something that needs to be cut out of a business op. But sometimes it is, especially after you've scaled up super fast. Well, at this point it's not fast, but
Yeah.
man, the World of Warcraft sub numbers were what 15 million, I think, in the late 2000s, and
That
now
sounds
now it's under 2 million.
Yeah.
Who knows what it's like post Classic? That assuredly brought some people back. but-
Probably.
For a moment.
yeah, but
Yeah, I don't know how long that had lost.
Yeah, I mean, that can't be a full rejuvenation.
Probably not.
Right? It's just like a bump in the graph at a certain point.
so if you scaled up to operate with that level of revenue, and that revenue is just kind of bled away over the
So
last
much
decade.
revenue, too.
I mean, a
people
lot of it
paying
might still be in the
fee-
bank,
ugh.
but
I would think so. I feel
would
like they
hope
had
so.
so much money there that they must have saved a bunch of it. WoW was so profitable.
it
It's
might
nuts.
be running out, which is why they're canceling just like
Yeah.
Blue Sky, like just cram 10 people into a room with a dry erase board and let them design a game kind of thing.
I feel like Overwatch has got to be earning them a lot of money, though. Like, I would think those cosmetics get them a fair amount of cash.
It still has a pretty high player
knows?
base.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I don't
It's
know.
not as high
Does
as
it?
it was,
I'm
but
just
I think
asking.
it's
I
still
don't know.
pretty good.
Just asking
I believe.
questions here. I'm just asking questions.
Debate me.
Why don't we eat the babies? Why don't we? That's when they're maximally nutritious. Hey, just asking questions. I thought we were in America.
I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to let you
What,
just
you
peter
gonna buy
out.
some flags.
Yeah. Who wants outrageously expensive packs of miniature Hong
Again,
Kong flags?
Wouldn't it be awesome
In
if they
support
brought
of the protest,
if
I
they
just
bought
think
the
the
wrong
flags is
flag?
very funny.
Yeah.
But if they like open it and it's like a bunch of like Dominican Republic flags
It's
or
a
like
Chinese
Sweden.
flag instead of a Hong Kong
Oh,
flag.
yeah, that would
What
be
gets even better
not
is
great.
if no one knows. Like, no one even Googles it. They're just like, oh,
Yeah,
they're
and
here.
just swinging
We
around
got
a
the
flag from
flags.
Hungary.
Yelling, liberate Hong Kong.
You know what? I'm on board with it. It sounds good.
All right.
I am curious to death. More than to see like, sorry, that was very accusatory.
I am curious.
I'm
Connor.
not curious. I'm sorry.
One of my favorite things is when there is a lot of enthusiasm, genuine enthusiasm for something, and they want to stage a protest, but no one in the group wants to like do the boring thing of calling the convention center, coordinating with staff, and setting up boundaries and barriers.
There isn't an indication
just
that
show
they
up?
have done that. All I know right now is that they have a petition. They want people to tweet at game companies. They want people to spread the word, and they have a Discord.
Event planning sucks. So that's, to me, like, you want to talk about making a decision with no overhead. Doing a protest requires someone, probably many people, to coordinate events, to communicate to people, to say, this is where we're meeting, to like post a map with a big thing circled and parking instructions and like
Yeah.
have snacks and water ready and all of this stuff. But I doubt.
I mean, you could
They
just end up
may-
with people
they-
loosely milling around.
It says they have a partnership with a company called Gamers for Freedom, Fight for the Future,
Is it a number 4 or letter 4?
FOR.
Damn it.
I know, it does sound legit. But I mean, this also says, this is on the protest BlizzCon Reddit. It does say
They have a whole
their
subreddit?
goal is to make these protests as big as possible. So I don't know what the plan is
I
yet.
think they were getting made fun of on an Orange County subreddit.
They were.
Yeah.
There
So
was
maybe maybe they migrated.
They talked about protesting at Blizzard's gates, just outside of the campus, just at the gates. And yeah, some OC residents were like, what? Go to a Chinese embassy, you idiots.
Yeah.
Why
Now
on a
it's a
Thursday
problem.
morning? Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this comment. There's someone on the subreddit who said, Protesting at BlizzCon means much more than protesting against Blizzard's recent actions. It will bring a big message to many entertainment industries that customers and audiences are tired of contents being censored. And like, oh, is that why you're protesting?
Yeah, that's the fun part.
That's a different thing. Is this about you or is this about Hong Kong?
In addition to communicating, like somebody shows up, yeah, give me my flag. It's time we have sex with kids. And I was like, whoa! Wow, that's what we're protesting for, free speech, right? I mean, yes, but not that.
Not that.
Why aren't the X-Men in the Avengers yet? What?
What? I mean, I'm glad you're here. Don't
I'm
get me
being
wrong.
censored.
Are you?
Sure, grab a flag. It's just a warm body.
We need more people. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Grab a flag.
We gotta stick it to those massive media corporations whose entertainment products we consume on a daily basis, and from a large portion of us use it to fund our livelihoods. Fuck them.
Why isn't Robert Downey Jr. getting nominated for an Oscar?
Well, no, it's fine. You have a flag. So wow.
Waving a giant 9-foot Hong Kong flag. He brought the biggest flag.
20 minutes into pain, he's like, God, fucking Robert Downey Jr. has
Lord
so many
Robert
letters
Downey
in his
Jr.
name. It's Robert Downey and the juniors curving off to the side in small letters.
Robert Downey Jr. Robert.
Please prove me wrong. I hope that your protest is excellently planned.
They couldn't fit Robert, so they wrote Bob instead.
Bob Downey.
Bob D. Jr.
Bob DJ. BDJ.
Who the hell is that? Robert Downey Jr.
Bob for Oscar.
Don't you support Hong Kong? It's like kicking up a giant, like knocking over cosplayers and blowing off wigs and stuff.
It just blocks the doors to the convention.
This is an interesting comment. Someone said, wish you would all focus your efforts elsewhere rather than ruining a good, clean, fun Blizzard's fans seek at this event, which is kind of interesting.
So you talk about like people getting over it. That will happen at BlizzCon. Somebody's going to say something and someone else is going to be like, dude, just let it go. I guarantee you that moment will happen where the half of the audience just wants to play video games suddenly like gets over it, and then they start pressuring the other half to shut up about the Hong Kong stuff because they just want to see video
It's going to
games.
be are you going?
Yes.
I'm not going.
Disclosure, my awesome
chose to
girlfriend
not
works for
go.
Blizzard, so I get to go.
Be an interesting one.
I'll be your guerrilla reporter.
I will also be there.
Man on the street. Yeah, Connor and Patrick are going to be there too.
You guys should film some stuff.
Boys.
We will
They
be,
are.
but for someone else.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job.
Yep,
All right.
buzz.
I need to jump into our next sponsorship. Fleur makes great-smelling, non-toxic perfumes. Unlike other fragrance companies, they're transparent and tell you every ingredient in their perfumes and why it's there. You get a good scent made with clean ingredients, and the sample process is honestly pretty fun. There's also something just really great about the amount of variety Fleur offers with their scents. You know how different scents can smell different on different people? They basically have different grades for their scents. Like, I really like Hanami, which is a really minimalistic scent that's sort of like aquatic, a little bit floral. It works for something like going to the office, where you don't want anything too overwhelming, for example. But there are plenty more options where that came from. So if you want to start smelling nice and smelling more like you, go to fleur.com/dudesoup today to check out our curated sample set and get 20% off your first custom Fleur sample set. That's fleur.com/dudesoup to get your first 3 Fleur fragrances samples at 20% off. PHLUR.com/dudesoup. And thank you to Fleur for sponsoring this week's episode of Dude Soup. Moving on from BlizzCon really quick, we've got about 10 minutes.
BlizzConner.
Dude, this is your year, bud.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
I hated that.
I'm gonna say that and
I didn't
only
like
that.
it. I didn't
We're gonna
like
have
it
to
at all.
develop a series of language where we like communicate through tone, because that's gonna be the only thing I say to you at
leaving.
BlizzCon.
So I sort of intentionally quoted
Kotaku,
Kotaku earlier in this episode because there's some stuff going on at Kotaku right now, which by the time that this is live, may be out of date because it's kind of happening right now.
Yeah.
Basically, their website recently had an insane amount of really intrusive ads, just tons and tons of ads. So the editorial team banded together to write a post about how to contact the private equity owner management team to request them to remove some of those ads, or at the very least, like, tell them how much you hate the ads. So basically, this is an editorial outlet being like, contact the team who pays for gives us jobs and get mad at them. This is nuts. It's like such a ballsy thing to do. But of course, Kotaku has a union. I feel like they've always been very, I don't know.
Vocal? Forward?
They've been like.
I want to say they just do a good job of supporting themselves. They stand up for
definitely.
themselves pretty aggressively.
The pack is strong, and I appreciate that. They definitely get each
Yeah.
other's backs a lot.
I mean,
Across
they
all of
also have-
Gizmodo, it seems.
I think-
Well, not formerly Gizmodo.
Yes, I think they also have better like entry position salaries than most other games companies. Stances against overtime, like all of that stuff happens a lot in games media as well as games journalism. I mean, as well as the games industry. I just feel like nobody really talks about it when it comes to media because you're like, you just fucking play video games all day, so it doesn't matter. But there is huge problems with people being underpaid. And
It's also
overworked.
people willing to knock down the doors to work for free to do those
true.
jobs. So there is an element of like Kotaku intentionally hires less people to treat the people they do hire right.
That's true.
Which, cuts, but I'm sure there are hundreds of people that would love to write for subhuman wages and work very long hours to get their work on Kotaku. But Kotaku says no.
That is true.
respect people.
Yeah, we don't want to treat you like slaves.
Okay, so their post said, we've received a great deal of feedback from you, our readers, about the sound on autoplay videos that have been inundating our sites, which does sound really awful.
Sounds awful.
It has been.
Yeah. We want you to know that we hear you, that we take those complaints seriously, and that we, the writers, editors, and video producers of Kotaku, are as upset with the current state of our site's user experience as you are. We think it's important to let you know that the editorial staff does not control the ad experience on the site, and that we understand that Kotaku is nothing without its readers, so your complaints are our complaints. And then they go on to tell people to submit feedback to G&O, who they have already spoken to. So some of the responses to this were like, this is really disrespectful of you, Kotaku. It sounds like they have raised these concerns with the G&O Media leadership team. They were ignored, so now they're trying to get the help of the community, which I think is just ballsy as hell. But then Jason Schreier tweeted a little while after that was posted saying this article is no longer up. The staff of Kotaku did not remove it. So it seems like their owners took down the post where they were pretty innocently saying, like, it's aggressive, but it's not, they're not.
It's just exposing the chain of command.
I think
and then
it's
also that's in violation of their contractual agreement with their private equity holder, right?
I think it's
Potentially.
important to.
He tweeted the clause that says that the editorial team has exclusive editorial rights. I'm so sorry. I keep
No,
going.
you're fine.
That they have exclusive editorial rights about what gets posted and when. So if the owners came in and deleted it, that would be in violation of their contract.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that Kotaku did not throw the first stone. That this has been. I've been following this on Twitter for a little bit. A lot has been happening over at Deadspin in the same media family. Today, one of the longest tenured writers was fired.
Barry
Patechki? It's at Barry on
Patechki.
Twitter.
He's very lucky to get that.
Yeah, very cool. At Connor is
Good
just
handle, dog.
sitting there, not tweeting. Anyway, yeah, it's been because there's been a whole thing about like telling Deadspin to stick to sports, and then they sent some like weird email once they took over the company, the equity firm, and they were like, you have to be in at 9 to 5, business casual, and like they tried like impressing all these like. Basically, the management team came in and they decided we're going to run things our way, completely ignoring the profitable, well-run organization that already existed. So Kotaku now and its sister sites have been putting up with this blatant mistreatment from a company that does not understand, it seems, online journalism and media. And now the ads were just the next step in this firm just completely screwing over the readership that is keeping the companies afloat.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of ongoing issues with whoever's the leader of this arm.
And they have a history of running companies into the ground, apparently, and bad workplaces.
Yikes. Well, thankfully Kotaku does have a union, GMG.
Do you reckon that might be part of the strategy though, of just like trying to push everyone out so you can just liquidate it and move on if you don't want to keep running something?
Potentially.
Maybe they're trying to pick fights. I'm just throwing that out there.
Maybe
I
they're
mean-
trying to launder some money for some Counter-Strike.
Maybe trying to buy some
I
knives.
feel like,
Maybe.
like with the amount of ads they do run, because it is a lot, Kotaku is profitable. It's just that it's gotten to a point where, and I can't even imagine how the editorial team there feels. It's like, instead of using the ads to fund the journalism, it's basically that the journalism is just fodder for the ads. Like, it's not, we sell ads so we can pay you to write good things, which I guess doesn't happen that much anymore anyway, but it feels a lot more like, yeah, you can write some stuff so that we have some stuff to fill out what the ads are there for. Like, it's become an ad-first website, not a journalism-first website, which of course the editorial team would not agree with. It's pretty nuts.
No, it's that cynical take on content that we've seen more and more of. There's an actual quote of Jeff Bezos saying, "The better a TV show we make, the more shoes we sell." Talking about Amazon Prime Video, which, when you hear that, it's like, well, I guess I'll keep watching Miss Maisel, but I won't be happy about it. Yeah, right? It's like, the showrunners and the writers and the actors care about this art they're producing, much like the staff at Kotaku, but when it's seen as just a means to an end for the people that are employing you, it's not employing with quotes, employing you.
Actually, employee.
Literally employing you.
Yeah, gainfully employed through the media group. It's, I don't know, that's a really, terrible position to be put in.
I mean, the only time anyone pays for art to exist for art's sake are like endowments from the government.
Yeah.
Aside from that, from any private company, art is always commercial. It's a means to an end.
That's true.
Yeah.
To grab somebody's eyeballs so you can market to them, or to.
But it has to be a balance of respect and profit.
Yeah,
It
that's
does.
the
You
You
ideal.
can't just push the gas. I mean, that's the microtransaction thing.
Yeah.
Every organization I've ever seen, and I'm not super experienced, but it's always that exact spectrum of like at the top, it's all purely mechanical, and art is a product, writing is a product. Everything is just there to push ads and make money. Like you're looking at it as a sausage factory up. And then on the other side of the spectrum are the people who actually create it every day, and they have value in what they do and believe that there's like cultural significance to their work. And yeah, it just seems to be like an even transition. As you get more removed from the actual production of the content, you start to see it more as a commodity or a unit to be traded against. And it just seems to get more extreme the further away you get.
Yeah.
So to a degree, that organization is kind of efficient. The people who care most about it are the ones making it, and the people who care least about it are the ones making the cold, inhuman, sometimes aggravating decisions about how to place it or monetize it.
I don't feel like
Yeah.
anyone involved here is not doing their job. Because they are. They're all just doing their jobs, but I'm still very much on the side of Kotaku. So their union, GMG, tweeted saying, the GMG union has been informed that posts across our websites asking for reader feedback on an autoplay ad campaign were taken down by management. We condemn this action in the strongest possible terms. We're reposting the statement as a screenshot here as we gather more information. We thank you, our readers and supporters, for standing with us through this process. And then, yeah, the Deadspin guy got fired. GMO's response to that was, this will not stand. We will have updates soon. Barry tweeted, hi, I've just been fired from Deadspin for not sticking to sports.
Yep, very
And
candid.
then Jason Schreier tweeted today, I don't know what's going to happen next, but to everyone who has read and supported our work at Kotaku over the years, thank you. And then since we've been live, Stephen Totillo, who is the editor-in-chief of Kotaku, tweeted saying, another tough day at the office. I've steered Kotaku through some rough waters before thanks to my amazing team. Can I do it again? We'll see. We all love the site and the family of sites we're in and are extremely motivated to do right by our readers and viewers. So could be the end of Kotaku. We have no idea.
Yeah.
That would be the end of an era for sure.
Absolutely.
nuts.
Especially after all they went through with Gawker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to end like this, I guess
Hulkamania
feasibly
ran
you
wild
could
on
see Geo or Go Media, however it's pronounced. It wouldn't go well for them, but they could sack everyone and just bring in like a freelancer and some interns and keep it running.
They could.
It's very Succession-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
watching.
no idea. Yeah, like I said, this might be out of date by the time this goes live on YouTube on Thursday, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like they will probably be fine, but there's going to be some major internal issues for them right now. It's pretty nuts. Like to see someone taking a stand against their corporate overlords like this, especially when it's media, is just crazy to see. And I know there are a lot of people who don't like Kotaku because of their political pieces and stuff.
SJWs.
I've seen
Pretty much.
some celebratory threads on 4chan and Reddit,
Cool.
which is real shit considering that they do a lot of legitimately good games coverage and break a lot of really cool stories and
Yeah.
especially good visibility to a lot of human issues inside of game dev.
Yeah, it's
Great resource for gaming journalism.
It's also just
yeah,
a case of like
legitimately.
with them, there are always, I guess games media less so, but there are always going to be media outlets that are on either side of politics, and I feel like that's valuable. Like I would prefer to have a right-wing outlet and a left-wing outlet, and I feel like Kotaku is of the popular ones the most left. Like IGN's effectively apolitical. They don't really say anything political at all. I feel like there is value in having diverse political views, even if you don't like them, then you just don't read those ones. And I think that that's fine. I would prefer that than Kotaku dies, which would be a huge bummer. Be interesting to see what would happen to Schreier and the team of people there who have all been there for a really long time, though.
Hopefully launch a Patreon and start their own IP.
It feels like that
Get
should
acquired
be
again.
the case
Yeah.
for a lot of these. Like it feels like,
There was the Game Informer people who just launched, what is it, MinMax?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that scares me, and this is thinking too many steps ahead, but how many crowdfunded brands can games media fans support?
Don't know.
Because Kind of Funny got in pretty early.
Yeah, I think they were probably the first.
Yeah, one of the first for sure. Like Mega 64, it's kind of been there for a long
True.
time. I hope it doesn't get too many. Because the crazy thing is when you have to rely on audience numbers to support you, it does change the direction and intent of what you do.
Yeah.
Because people vote with their eyeballs, and you have to make content that appeals to the most people. So you stop seeing stories about like this poor beleaguered indie dev who got fucked over by a large corporation. Actually, that narrative tends to play pretty well with large audiences.
True.
But there are more important stories that deserve to be told and can affect real and positive change.
Yeah.
That just people's eyeballs en masse can't support happening.
Mainstream publications are very important to have to offset the splintered publications that are ostensibly made to please their audience. Not that they're like compromised by it, but you know, like you're saying, it's a different thing.
Yeah. What's wild about this is
Wild and
dust-ups
crazy.
like that. This one's visible, but having been in media, and I don't know, maybe you guys can attest to this too.
Media?
Yeah, media. You can't spell media without me and I.
Mead.
True.
Honey wine.
Without med.
Meds.
There are conflicts and shouting matches, strongly worded emails that parallel what we're seeing right now. It's just never seen. So I've been in discussions that have this tenor of conflict, but no one's ever
usually
known
people
about them.
don't see them. Yeah, and I don't doubt that Kotaku has been fighting this fight silently for
Not
a
at Rooster
long
Teeth.
time.
I should make that clear. Sorry, I didn't mean to say. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just realized
fine.
something could breed bad.
Yeah, sure.
Smart.
Yeah, I feel like Kotaku's probably been fighting this fight for a long time.
think so.
And it just now is becoming public because they feel like they have to make it public because it's gotten to that point. I do think a management company, I don't really know what they call their parent company, deleting something that they posted is insane. That's nuts.
They've been doing a lot of stuff
Such a
like
bad
that.
precedent.
Like that, I don't remember if we were live or not, but that poll that went up, and I keep bringing up
Oh, yeah.
Deadspin, but
We
that's
went
been
live,
where it's
yeah.
been most like bone on bone, no cartilage. So they like posted a poll that was like deliberately phrased in a way that would make it look bad for the publication because all the answers were positive, but the question was like, what do you like least about the coverage here? And they didn't run it by editorial at all. It was just, management just posted it on there. And that was before all the ads.
And that was, what was the purpose of that? To try to
that
get
was
them
in the
to
whole,
say
like-
they only want sports?
Yes, that was basically like their the whole like idea of we need some adults in the room is their kind of whole ethos when it comes to stepping in, and I think that was kind of a precursor to like stop talking about political stuff for a sports page, which I mean
Just
they're
not a
not.
great way to
Deadspin's
treat your
great
writers.
for just having, and Kotaku too. Like there's an incredible article. I can't remember who wrote it, but it was he reviewed a snake being in his house, like it was a game.
Sounds
Amazing.
like a Kirk Hamilton joint, maybe.
No, I think it was oh shoot, I feel terrible.
Let me see Snake in my house.
A review.
Review
Tim Rogers,
Kotaku.
maybe.
It wasn't Tim Rogers, no.
Also,
Finding
man,
a snake in your house, the Kotaku review.
It's pretty good, but that's not something I think you would
Zach
see in a game.
Zweisen.
Like if we
Ah.
see a future where it's like stick to games, Kotaku. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they definitely get out of the comfort zone quite a bit. But
Yeah.
I think they've always had, and maybe this is to Schreier's credit, they've always had a strong, even if they're posting not about games, it is always in the wheelhouse of like games and certainly Japanese.
it's for that audience,
culture and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and yeah, the stick to games thing, man. Whatever. It's such a dumb phrase.
IGN got that while I was working there, even though they had been an entertainment website, and it's called IGN Entertainment for like 12 years.
Yeah.
They'd be like, you don't talk about video games anymore. We've spoken about movies and TV for a decade.
Also,
What?
you guys want to hear about them, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like these, apparently.
We just put Game of Thrones in the title, and it does better than anything else we say.
Yeah,
so.
it's pretty nuts. All
Deal with
right,
it.
before we wrap up the show, we have to hear from our next sponsor, Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon's mission is simple, to make sure all your basics and beyond are smartly designed and shopping for them is easy and convenient. They founded Mack Weldon because they wanted to make more out of their basics and always questioned how something so essential could be such a pain in the butt to buy. The frustration was real, and the eureka moment happened in a department store aisle full of brands that dominated our top drawer. So, Mack Weldon started from scratch to engineer and craft their own fabric with a great fit, world-class customer experience, and what they define as perfection. Mack Weldon is better and more comfortable than what you're wearing right now, thanks to smart design and premium fabrics with also just really simple shopping. Check out the website. They have a really clean and easy to navigate site. It's actually kind of fun to look around, easy to pick what you want and get it sent your way with no hassle. They also just have really comfortable stuff, seriously. Not just the underwear. The socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, and sweatpants are the best you'll ever wear. Some of them are antimicrobial, so they stop you from smelling, which is obviously great. And they want you to be comfortable. So if you don't like your first pair of underwear, you can keep it, and they will still refund you. No questions asked. So for 20% off your first order, visit macweldon.com and enter promo code DUDESOUP. That's 20% off your first order. Visit macweldon.com and enter promo code DUDESOUP. Thank you, Mac Weldon. Apparently Lawrence is maybe wearing some Mac Weldon. So are you comfy? That's how
Shift
you know.
around. See how you
I'm
feel.
pretty comfy.
Is it microbial?
So I just wanted to wrap up the show super quick because I think we've
not
maybe just
microbial?
been going for an hour.
What do
There's
you want?
microbes of some sort. They're either in there or there aren't. They aren't.
Should I leave? You guys can talk about your
Yeah,
own
micro
developments?
talk.
Nice. I just wanted to ask, there are a lot of games out right now that are really good. What have you guys been playing? I'm obsessed with the Outer Worlds. So.
I just started last night. I wanted to play all weekend, but I literally just built my PC last night.
Nice.
So I was waiting. Thank you, Omar,
You're welcome.
Nice.
for helping me a lot. I'm playing as a kind of a dick. Which
It's liberating,
I'm
isn't
only
it?
in the first couple minutes, but I'm always nice in RPGs, and so I'm excited to see that through.
Interesting. I mean, it's a tough game. There are a lot of really tough decisions to make that screw over people no matter what.
No, I'm really good at video games.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's chill.
No, I already can feel that, but I've given myself the license to I let that person at the very beginning, when they're like, there's marauders down there. I'm like, well, you should take care of that. And then they run in and get killed.
Oh, I did that too, but they didn't get killed.
Oh, they got murdered. And then I went in
you
and
get their
looted their
stuff?
bodies.
Yeah.
I
wow,
was
they
like,
totally lived for me.
everything's coming up Millhouse.
Huh.
Well, I didn't shoot at the marauders. I ran in and spent a lot of time meleeing one, which may have given the other one
I
time
just stood
to
up
kill
there
the
and
others.
watched it. I was like,
Oh.
go on with your bad selves.
Well, no, they killed the
Wow.
people, which I was like, oh,
That's
maybe I'm rude. Maybe that's who I am now.
It doesn't suit you at all, but have fun.
Do you find it difficult to continue?
Aren't I a bad boy? At one point, I'm gonna have to bake in a redemption arc for my character who cares about one small thing of life, which I'll extrapolate into
Yeah.
being a good person.
Maybe some romance or something will lead him into the light side.
No, I don't think she's the romantic type.
Got it.
She's a little older. Elevator technician aptitude.
Excellent. Yeah, old women hate love.
Not saying
And
that.
stairs.
I'm saying this one does.
Yeah, I really love the Outer Worlds. I think I've been more obsessed with it than anything else that I've played all year. I can't stop thinking about it. I want to play it all the time.
Yeah.
But I did also play Modern Warfare campaign, a chunk of that, really like it, and a bunch of After Party, which I also really like.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
out today.
That is out today. Yeah.
On
All
Game
good
Pass.
games. We also have Death Stranding, but are not allowed to talk about it. Lawrence has been playing it, as have I. That is all we're allowed to say.
I can talk about it because I haven't played it.
What do you think about Death Stranding? Connor?
Give us a
so
review.
far-
We'll see if you're right.
I found Death Stranding in my house. Well, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm just making jokes over here. Blizzcon.
There you go.
Remember?
Fire Connor.
Classic Blizzcon.
Is my brim shadow severe?
Oh, you look good.
That was also before we were live, so that's a joke for
You
us.
look like a gumshoe. I've been grinding on Death Stranding. A review coming to Inside Gaming on Friday.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. But yeah, I've been putting in the time. It's been a while since I've had to just really knuckle in and play a game nonstop. The downside is I have nothing to say about it at this juncture.
Not allowed.
Nope. Aside from that, I've been trying to play Destiny 2 with the boys. I want to do that raid.
Ooh, that new Halloween event is great.
Halloween event is up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a big old shiny gun for me, maybe.
I'm
Get that
not-
light level boosting up.
I'm not raid ready, but I can play on PC now.
That's good.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Cross save.
So got that cross save, yeah.
You're into it.
Play on whatever you want, dog.
Gosh,
Hell yeah,
what else?
dog. Play whatever you want.
Whatever
I'm
you
really
want,
excited
dog.
to start Outer Worlds. Like Fallout 1 and 2 are some of my favorite RPGs. from
very
that era.
good.
So now that those boys are back, the Obsidian dogs are off the chain. Yeah. Tim Kaine, the thug,
Tim
thug
Kaine,
himself.
the vice presidential nominee.
No, the other Tim Kaine, the guy who made Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. I don't remember. The world's first steampunk game and last, thank God. But that game was actually pretty good.
Oh.
Yes, a game about steampunk that I liked. It should tell you how good it is. I think he also did Vampire the Masquerade back in the day.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, pretty legit RPG crafter. Also did some work on the Old Republic, I think. Really early days, maybe Firefall. I don't remember. Anyway,
I don't know.
so I'm excited to
I
start
just saw
that.
there's another Kotaku related update, sort of. This is a
Dun, 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 dun.
breaking news. This is about an hour ago. Another investigative journalist from Deadspin has quit. Diana Moskovitz. She said, "What happened today and everything that preceded it are among the reasons that I decided to move on."
Wow.
So people be quitting now.
It's pretty bad over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figure unless they figure it out, there's probably a strike on the horizon.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Kotaku, the doors will close. Oh man,
Where will people get their car news from if not Jalopnik?
I
read it.
I can see a world, Connor, kind of like what you're saying, is that the Kotaku staff goes on strike. G&O like puts out an open casting call and just swipes up a ton of garbage bloggers.
They'll scab it up.
Yeah, they hire a bunch of scabs. The scabs flood the site with just like poorly written, non-edited, garbage, trash, shitpost junk. With just
It'd be so sad.
It would be very sad.
Yeah.
And then hopefully the website views tank. G&O a month in sees it's not working. They hire the staff back, and then they settle out some terms. The thing is, they already had a contract. They already had a union and a work contract. So I don't know how trust gets restored after.
You don't have to acknowledge a union is a crazy thing, though. Like, people can unionize, and the parent company can be like, we don't recognize that. We would.
But apparently they did. They executed
They
paperwork
did
and
in this
everything,
case. Yeah.
Well, also, it's weird with the inundation of ads, though. That's not really something that, like, I don't think a union typically has to worry about.
No,
right?
because that's on behalf of
they're-
the readers rather than the
Exactly,
staff,
yeah.
but
And so,
I think
like,
their idea is that they work for the staff no matter what.
yes. And what is a union supposed to do when the company owning the site actively shoots itself in the foot in order to get, like, squeeze a couple dollars out every day? It's weird. Like, how do you advocate against that?
Well, yeah,
I guess that's
the
why
way
they put
did.
out- yeah.
Yeah. The division of responsibility, as far as I understood, was that the union, or I can't remember the specific parties involved, but it's like the deputy editor, the editor-in-chief, and like one other person. They have the exclusive say of what gets published, why, what it looks like, and how. So they have 100% control over the creative, whereas the parent company has 100% control over the ad placement, the ad volume, the ad density, all that stuff. So the parent company is going wild on the ad density. The union has no say in that, really, but they have say in what gets posted. So they post hey, this isn't on us, but if you want to talk to the responsible parties, go look at them. And then, then the parent company went outside of their boundary, deleted the post. So it's a violation of the agreement.
It's a whole mess.
So maybe the union can lawyer up, sue the shit out of G&O for violating the
they
contract.
violated the
That would be
terms.
cool.
That'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
There are a lot of people saying really awful things about Kotaku.
Yeah,
They're
people
like,
are
glad
really-
it's dead. They're like, good, your politics is
don't
up to
you
die.
know that
What's wild is
the
any of them
YouTuber
would
you watch
kill
for news
for
gets
that
it all
job.
from Kotaku?
Yeah. Yes. Legitimately, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we credit
specifically
it.
us. Yeah, we credit, but also we do original reporting too on like a lot
As
of
well, yeah.
YouTubers.
But there's a lot of people that pass it off as like, this is something I found out about Battlefront 2.
A lot of games media and games reporting is really just punditry anyway. It's just here's my opinion and then reported as fact to give people something to think
Right.
about.
It'll be fun to see them all pivot to GTA 5 Let's Plays.
Yeah,
Once
every
they
last
can't
one.
get Kotaku news.
Oh, they'll come up with their own. I will say that like games media pundits are exceedingly good at extracting headlines from nothing and constructing really good straw men to get mad at. So yeah, it is. I do think it is a little disgraceful to people who are celebrating the current troubles that Kotaku have, especially because they got into trouble in the first place by trying to protect the experience of their readers. That's especially shady.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, are you saying you want autoplay ads with sound on every website? Is that?
Yeah. I feel like even if you don't like Kotaku's politics, a lot of these replies are like, you deserve it for being so woke.
That has nothing to do with
Someone
it.
here says you and your team are part of the problem with the games industry. Your so-called journalism does nothing but promote and spread bias negativity. Someone called it toxic.
These people
You
never
should-
leave Twitter.
You should, in theory, still be very much in support of a website taking a dramatic stance against aggressive advertising.
Right. Aggressive advertising sucks.
And it's so.
We can all agree on that, right?
I would
You
I would
sure
have
there's someone
thought
out there who's
so.
like, I like ads.
I enjoy seeing what Swiffer is doing now.
It's astoundingly hypocritical too. To
the-
accuse
Can you
Kotaku-
make it have sound on automatically so I don't have to press the button?
No, that's the octogenarian who has sound playing in every tab but can't hear it because their hearing aid is turned off. And it's like, I don't see the problem.
Makes me feel less alone.
It drowns out the voices in my head from my husband. God rest his soul.
Why am I going with an old lady?
Yeah,
That's the Kotaku readership.
reader glasses.
Stick with.
Every other word, she's got to push her glasses back up and keep typing.
It's
But
a
I
bad
do
one.
that.
Good riddance to every toxic Inpol SJW Kotaku fuck who used gaming as a Trojan horse to push their bullshit.
She's British now. I'm sick of these absolute soy boys taking my games away from. Now,
I like advertising.
mine was going to chimney sweep.
Yeah, I see.
That's
I see.
fine.
All right.
You find your voice after a while.
It's about time for us to wrap up this episode of Dude Soup. I hope you all enjoyed it. Very video gaming week. We're excited to see what happens at BlizzCon. Hope everyone stays safe out there and that Diablo 4 looks good.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay, for the ladies. This is actually the wrong team, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
It's okay, Benson.
It's like he's going to hell.
Do you want a hand? Do you need help?
Don't help him.
No, what? It's fine. It's all going.
3 cards are off the board. Nothing.